building your life for the wrong audience. Right now, stop. Everything changes when you realize nobody is watching as closely as you think they are. And the ones who matter, they're too busy thinking about themselves to even care about you. So what if I told you that the moment you stop trying to impress them is the moment you actually become impressive?
Let me paint you a picture of what external focus looks like. You wake up, first thing you do, check your phone, not to call someone you love, not to work on your goals, to see what everyone else is doing, what they posted, what they achieved, what they have that you don't. You go to the gym, you look around, immediately comparing. That guy is bigger than you. That girl is leaner. That person is stronger. And suddenly, you're not training for you anymore. You're training to prove something to them, to show you're not weak, to demonstrate you matter.
Everything you do has an audience in mind. You pick your clothes thinking, will they like this? You say things thinking, will they approve? You build your body, your business, your life thinking, what will they think? And here's the sick part. They're doing the exact same thing with their own lives. They're not thinking about you. They're thinking about what you're thinking about them. It's a hall of mirrors. Everyone performing, nobody present.
I lived like that for 10 years. 10 years. Do you understand what that means? 10 years of building for an audience that didn't even care. 10 years of seeking approval from people I didn't respect. 10 years of chasing metrics that meant absolutely nothing. Followers, likes, comments. Did you see what they said about me? Who cares? They're living their lives barely thinking about you and your building. Your entire existence around what they might think.
The exhaustion was real, performing all day, checking all night, wondering, always wondering, am I enough? Will they like me? Did I say the right thing? Do I look right? Am I failing? This constant anxious loop. And you know the worst part? The worst part was this: I didn't even know who I was anymore. If you took away the approval, the followers, the validation, the likes, who was I? I couldn't answer that question. Because I'd spent so long building someone else's version of me that the real me had gotten lost somewhere in the noise.
I was at the gym one day, looked in the mirror, and the person staring back, they were someone else's version of me, not mine. I was 80% everyone's expectations and 20% actually me. And that broke something open inside me. That moment, standing there, looking at a stranger in my own body, I realized, if I don't focus on me from this moment forward, nobody else will.
I had a mentor, not a famous one, not someone with 1 million followers, just a real one, someone who had actually built something real. And I asked him a question that changed my life. How do you not care what people think? He looked at me and he said something I'll never forget. I stopped thinking about what people think. I started thinking about what I think. That's when everything changed.
4 sentences. That's all it took. That day, I made a decision, and it was simple. From now on, I focus on ME. Not in an arrogant way, not in a selfish way, but in a disciplined way. Everything I do is for one person. ME, my goals, my vision, my values. Everyone else is just a spectator now. I didn't make a 90-day plan. I didn't hire a coach. I didn't buy a program. I just decided no more building for them. No more performing for an audience. No more approval seeking. The show is over. It's just me now. My life, my vision, my focus. And that decision, that one moment of choosing myself, was the turning point. That changed everything.
The first thing I did, I deleted the apps, not the accounts. I'm not that dramatic. But but the apps. Those little icons on my phone that were stealing my focus every 5 minutes. That simple action was revolutionary. Sounds small? It wasn't. Because suddenly, I wasn't checking what everyone else was doing every 5 minutes. I wasn't comparing. I wasn't anxious. I was just present with myself in my own life. And that night, I made a vow. I stood in front of the mirror, the same mirror where I'd seen that stranger, and I said these words. I said,
I am done building for an audience. I am done seeking approval from people who don't deserve it. I am done comparing my chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 15. From now on, I am the only person I'm trying to impress. I am the only man this life. This is my life. Not theirs. Not anyone else's. It's mine. And I felt something shift. Not externally, internally, like a chain came off. Like I was finally, for the first time in a decade, free.
Day 1 was weird. Day 2 was weirder. Out of fear. Like, what if someone needs me? What if I'm missing something? What if they're talking about me? And then I'd remember, who cares? So I'd put the phone down and just be. The first week was about breaking the habit. Gym morning, no comparing myself to the guy next to me. Just training for me. Working during the day 1 task aligned with my goals. Not my boss's approval. Evening comes. No checking what everyone else is doing. Day 3, I felt different, lighter. That constant anxiety about what are they doing, what are they thinking about me, was gone. For the first time, I was just focused on one person, me. It was quiet. It was powerful.
But here's the thing, the old me was still fighting. Day 7, I got triggered, saw someone's success on someone else's phone. Immediately thought, why not me? Old habits die hard. But here's what was different. I caught myself. Instead of spiraling, I thought, good for them. That's their journey. I'm focused on mine. That's not my movie. That's not my story.
And I moved on. No anxiety, no comparison trap, no victim mentality, just clarity. The hardest part of that first month, guilt. Like I was being selfish. Like I was supposed to care what people thought, but then I realized something. Me to actually be present with the people who mattered. When you're not performing, you can actually connect.
By day 30, I wasn't the same person. I was calmer, clearer, more focused. One person, one vision, one direction.
Month 2. The novelty wore off. Deleting the apps was easy. But actually, living for myself, that was harder. Because it meant making choices that other people didn't understand. It meant saying no. And people don't like no. That's when the real test came. An opportunity showed up. Big one. Something that would have impressed people. Something that would have gotten attention. Followers. Recognition. But it wasn't aligned with my vision. Not because it was bad. It was actually great. But it wasn't for me. So I said no, and people thought I was crazy. Literally asked me, why would you turn that down? And I realized something crucial in that moment. They were making my decision about their comfort. They were trying to convince me to do something they thought was good, because they thought it would be impressive. But it wasn't my path. That's when I understood. When you focus on you, you have to be willing to look crazy to people who don't understand your vision. The hardest moment came around day 60. Exhaustion hit. Not physical exhaustion. Mental, emotional. Like, is this worth it? Is anyone even noticing? Am I wasting my time? The comparison trap was trying to pull me back in. The approval addiction was whispering, just post something. Just get some validation. Just...
And I almost listened. Almost went back to the old way. Almost compromised my vision for a quick hit of approval. But then something happened. One person pulled me aside, and they said, I noticed something different about you. You seem present, like you're actually living your life instead of performing it. One observation, one person seeing the real me, not because I was trying to impress them, but because I was actually being me. And that's when I understood the paradox. The moment you stop trying to be impressive, you become impressive. The moment you stop seeking validation, people start validating you naturally, because they sense the difference between performing and being real.
Days 60 through 90, I leaned deeper into the focus. Stopped explaining myself to people who didn't deserve an explanation. Stopped justifying my choices to people who weren't supporting my vision anyway. Stopped performing. And something shifted. The right people showed up. The right opportunities aligned. Because I was attracting based on authenticity, not performance. Day 90. Something fundamental shifted. Not because I did anything different, but because consistency had compounded. I was in the gym, training, not for show, not for proof, just pure focused work on my goals. And I was different, not because anyone was watching, but because I didn't care if anyone was watching. That's real power.
I moved differently, spoke differently, carried myself differently, not with arrogance, confidence. There's a difference. Arrogance needs validation. Confidence doesn't. The physical transformation was visible, stronger, leaner, more muscular. But the real transformation, it was internal. The way I thought about myself, the way I moved through the world, the decisions I made. I stopped saying maybe. I started saying yes or no. Clear, direct, aligned with my vision. And because I was clear, people understood where I stood. They respected it, or they didn't. Didn't matter. I wasn't performing for their approval anymore. And here's what's beautiful. When you stop needing approval, you attract people who respect you. Not out of performance, out of authenticity. Real. Connections with real people who valued the real me. Opportunities started aligning. Not because I was chasing them, but because my energy was clear. My vision was clear. People could feel it, and they wanted to be part of something real. By day 180, I was a different person. Not physically different from day 90, but psychologically different. I went from being the guy trying to impress everyone to being the guy who's unapologetically focused on his vision.
And you know what that shift did? It opened up everything. Because the energy you put out is the energy you get back. And I was putting out, I know who I am. I know what I want. Not performing, I'm building. That energy is magnetic. Not because it's fake or calculated, but because it's real.
Let me show you what a complete transformation looks like. Not in numbers, not in metrics, but in being. Before, looking at your phone every few minutes. Anxious energy, scattered, focus, building for an audience, seeking approval from people who didn't, deserve the power over your mood. After, clear focus, calm presence, powerful energy, building for purpose, respecting yourself enough to be unapologetically you.
And I had a realization, a moment where everything clicked into place. I was standing in my vision, not anyone else's. I was building something that excited me, not something that would impress others. I was living on my terms, not on theirs. And that's when I understood something profound. The only life worth building is the life that makes you come alive. Not them, not the audience, not the followers, you. When you build from that place, from authenticity, from purpose, from your own conviction, something magical happens. You don't just transform yourself, you transform everyone around you. Because real is contagious. People see someone who's not performing, someone who's actually living, someone who knows who they are and isn't apologizing for it. And they want that for themselves. That's when I understood the final truth. The more you focus on you, your growth, your vision, your truth, the more you naturally help and inspire everyone around you. Not by trying, but by being. Because authenticity is the most powerful force in the universe. Not filtered, not performed, not calculated. Just real, just you. Just focus on you. Everything changed because I changed. Not my circumstances, not my luck. Me, my mindset, my focus. My choice to stop building for them and start building for me. And here's the beautiful thing. That choice is available to you right now. Whatever you're building right now, whether it's a body, a business, a skill, a career, a life, you're probably doing it for the wrong audience. And you might not even realize it yet, but you will. When you're exhausted, when you're performing, when you're checking everyone else's progress instead of focusing on your own. That's when you'll realize I'm building for them, not for me. All of them, even the ones you love. They're too busy thinking about themselves to really be thinking about you. Do you know the difference between building from approval seeking and building from self-respect? One leaves you dependent, the other leaves you free. One has you constantly checking if you're enough. The other has you knowing you are enough, regardless of who's watching. Here's what I want you to do. Today, right now, not tomorrow, not Monday. Today. First, put your phone in another room. Don't touch it for 60 minutes. That's it. 60 minutes without checking what everyone else is doing. 60 minutes with just you and your own thoughts. Second, ask yourself one honest question. What do I actually want? Not what they want. Not what would impress them. What do I want? Write it down. Be specific. Third, this week, make one decision based purely on your values, even if people disagree, even if it doesn't look impressive from the outside. Do it because it's aligned with your vision, not theirs. That's it. 3 things. And I promise you, these small actions are the beginning of reclaiming your life.
Because here's the real truth. You only get one life. One. And if you spend it building for other people's comfort, you will never build a life that makes you feel alive. Focus on you, not from selfishness, from sacred responsibility. Because your life is your life, and nobody else is going to build it for you. The world doesn't need another version of everyone else. It needs you, the real you, the focused you, the unapologetic you. So from now on, focus on you, not from selfishness, from courage. That's it. That's the whole message. Focus on you.